It's been a week of damage control for the White House. For some perspective on that and other issues, we turn to Amber Phillips of the Washington Post. She writes about politics for The Fix. Amber, good morning.
Good morning.
Is Rudy Giuliani right? Does this tape prove the president did nothing wrong?
No, that's for the FBI to decide. I think this tape brings up two really difficult political and legal questions for the president. And it's if Michael Cohen, this is a big if again, did anything legally problematic by paying some of these women before the election to help Trump win. Did Trump know about it? Were there other conversations that were to be had? The second political problem for the president is what else did Michael Cohen have taped and what might he be sharing with the FBI?
Well, Cohen has certainly been seen as the keeper of Donald Trump's secrets. He was called loyal to a fault. What are you hearing coming out of this in terms of his willingness to cooperate?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? And it certainly feels like Cohen is putting out a lot of feelers that he's willing to cooperate with the FBI over, again, a man that he's worked for the better part of a decade. He's giving really ominous media interviews and social media postings to Trump saying, my priorities to my family and my country. Not the president.
Almost speaking directly to him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amber, let's talk about the Helsinki summit for a second and the backlash the president faced after his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. At the end of the week, we get the announcement that President Putin will be coming here. It's an interesting gesture in the midst of the backlash that he received. What do you make of that?
It's interesting. I use the adjective baffling. This is a president who, from a public relations perspective, makes decisions based on how the media covers it. Yeah. And as you pointed out, there was near universal backlash, including in a lot of conservative circles. And yet here he is going against the grain and saying, no, let's invite Putin back. It's also baffling from a counterintelligence perspective, because as we saw this week, his own intelligence chiefs didn't realize that Putin was being invited back and made it clear they thought that was a bad idea.
Will any of this stick, though? I mean, this is a president many have called the true Teflon Don. Will what has happened this past week, with all of the criticism, have a lasting impact on this president?
I have seen early evidence he's still Teflon Don right now. We have a CBS poll showing 70% of Republican voters like the way Trump handled that Helsinki summit with Putin, compared to a third of Americans more broadly. That's
important to point out. The base of Donald Trump's support approves of what he's done, although among independents, it's a very different judgment in that same poll. I want to ask, what kind of damage do you think lingers with the intelligence community, with the president, after what happened in Helsinki?
Yeah, I think the president has demonstrated that he really doesn't have a lot of credibility within the intelligence community. We saw, it was just remarkable the way things lined up. There was the Helsinki summit and then this big intelligence community gathering in Colorado days later. You had key members of Trump's own cabinet basically saying, I didn't think it was a good idea for him to do this. Dan Coates, the top spy chief, said, if Trump had asked me, I wouldn't have had him meet behind closed doors with Putin for 2 hours. So there's a little bit of pushback from the intelligence community in a way we haven't seen before.
A lot to unravel. Still more to come, I am sure. Amber Phillips, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.